Welcome, deep divers. Today, we're diving into something major, a real seismic shift in North American trade, a development that, well, it sent shockwaves way beyond our continent.
It really did. We're talking about a move that fundamentally redefines some long-standing alliances, left pretty much everyone scrambling trying to figure out what just happened.
Absolutely. And this deep dive, it's all about unpacking that swift, pretty comprehensive trade agreement recently hammered out between Canada and Mexico.
And the crucial part, the thing that makes it so impactful, is that it completely bypasses the United States. It's like a strategic workaround to those aggressive tariff policies we saw, especially from former President Donald Trump.
Exactly why we're here today. Our mission really is to pull back the curtain on this pretty astonishing development. We want to get into how this alliance came together, seemingly overnight.
Right. Who are the key players behind the scenes? What are the immediate economic ripples we're seeing?
And maybe most importantly, what does this signal for the future of global trade? We're going to explore what it means for you, our listener, and, the wider economy. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The element of surprise here.
Right.
It's almost as big as the deal itself, would you say?
Oh, absolutely.
This wasn't some slow negotiation playing out in public. It was, boom, a finalized bilateral agreement announced kind of abruptly at a joint press conference down in Mexico City.
Yeah, our sources are saying it genuinely caught both Washington insiders and global markets off guard. How do you even keep something that big under wraps?
It's quite something.
And what's really striking, it's not just the surprise, but the, audacity of it all. It wasn't a leak or rumors. It felt like a decisive, almost defiant statement.
Yeah.
And right at the center, we're hearing, is Mark Carney, Canada's very influential economic strategist.
Ah, Carney.
Right.
He's been, increasingly vocal for a while now, hasn't he, about Canada needing to diversify, needing to reduce that heavy reliance on the U.S. market. So this agreement, it feels like a culmination of that thinking.
A pretty dramatic culmination, yes, of that long-held conviction he's been pushing.
And he didn't exactly mince words at the announcement, did he?
Not at all.
Standing there with Mexican officials, he gave this really bold statement. I've got the quote here. He said, "Canada will no longer be held hostage to U.S. tariffs or trade intimidation."
Wow.
This deal represents a bold new era of economic cooperation between Canada and Mexico, one built on mutual respect, not pressure. That's practically a declaration of economic independence.
It absolutely sounds like it. And if you think about the wider picture, it really underlines this growing feeling globally, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, that nations are actively looking for trade relationships that are more resilient, more predictable, ones that aren't subject to, sudden policy U-turns from one single dominant partner.
Right, avoiding that whiplash.
Exactly. But okay, so what are the actual nuts and bolts of this deal? What does it do?
Good question. Let's unpack the specifics. Scope-wise, it's huge. We're talking billions of dollars in goods and services.
Billions. Okay.
Yeah, and sources are pointing specifically to key areas like agriculture, the auto sector, that's a big one, and technology. So it's not niche. It hits major economic pillars for both countries.
And the core mechanism, the engine driving this.
That seems to be the real game changer. Setting up these zero tariff zones for goods traded just between Canada and Mexico.
Okay, zero tariffs. So that means...
Well, it's not just about saving money on duties, though that's part of it. It also simplifies all the customs stuff, cuts down bureaucracy, speeds up logistics. Essentially, they're creating this super efficient trade corridor between themselves.
Which effectively undercuts those Trump-era tariffs.
Yeah.
Because those tariffs, they're basically taxes on imports, right? They made trading with the U.S. way more costly and complex.
Precisely. This is like a direct strategic bypass.
Clever.
And what's also interesting is how Carney framed it. He sort of offered reassurance, but also like an implied warning. He said, we value our American partners, but we will not tolerate being threatened with tariffs and trade wars. This is about economic stability and future growth.
Diplomatic, but pretty blunt.
Yeah, a very clear signal that Canada is drawing a line, protecting its own interests.
And that kind of directness, even wrapped in diplomacy, must have landed with a thud in Washington.
No kidding. And this is where it gets particularly intense. The reaction from former President Trump. Well, it's reportedly been furious.
Predictably, perhaps?
Yeah. Sources say he's called it a betrayal. He's accusing Canada, basically, of undermining American jobs, American interests.
Well, that fits his whole economic philosophy, doesn't it? He's always championed tariffs, sees them as the main tool to protect U.S. industries, bring jobs back home, as he puts it.
Right.
So from his viewpoint, this Canada-Mexico deal is a direct challenge to that whole strategy.
He didn't just express anger, apparently. He's issued some stark warnings about what might happen next.
Like what?
He specifically warned this move could have serious repercussions for American manufacturers, especially in the auto sector. You know how tangled those supply chains are.
Oh, absolutely. Parts crossing borders multiple times for just one vehicle. Mexico, U.S., Canada, it's all interconnected.
Exactly. So any disruption, like this deal potentially creating a separate fast lane, it hits everyone involved in that chain.
That complexity means any big policy shift, good or bad, just sends ripples everywhere.
And did he mention retaliation?
He did. There's talk of a vow to retaliate if he gets reelected, suggesting he'd impose even harsher tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports and reassert American dominance in trade.
So this trade tension, it's far from over. It could flare up again depending on, well, future political outcomes.
It certainly points to a potentially rocky road ahead. And this whole thing, it clearly has much bigger implications than just North America, right? It feels like a recalibration of power.
Oh, definitely. Economic analysts are already using words like huge, enormous to describe the potential fallout.
What's the main message they see being sent? Well, by basically cutting the U.S. out of this new arrangement, Canada and Mexico are sending this really powerful signal. They're saying, look, we're ready to move forward even without you if necessary.
That's quite a statement.
It really is. And it's not just about these two countries. It kind of sets a precedent, maybe a template, for other nations who feel, hemmed in by a single dominant trading partner.
So you think this could actually spark a broader reevaluation in global trade? More countries looking for alliances that sidestep potential U.S. Political issues or protectionism?
It's certainly possible. It offers a kind of blueprint for building more resilient, maybe more independent trade networks.
And is that causing ripples within the U.S. itself? Businesses must be watching this closely.
Very closely. We're hearing that U.S. business leaders are already pressuring the Biden administration to respond. They're worried American companies are going to be at a real competitive disadvantage now.
And this isn't just theory, right? Are we seeing actual changes on the ground?
We are, yes. There are already reports coming in that some manufacturers are actively relocating parts of their operations, moving them to Canada or Mexico specifically to take advantage of this new zero tariff arrangement.
Wow, that was fast. That's a very tangible, immediate reaction.
It shows how quickly capital can shift when the economic incentives change so dramatically. Which brings us to the big question for North America, really. What does this all mean for the continent's future?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like the game has just fundamentally changed. Canada's move here, this deal with Mexico, it's rewritten the rule book.
Precisely. The U.S. isn't the sole unchallenged power broker in North American trade anymore. That much is clear.
Right.
This shows that other countries are now willing and able to forge their own path if the existing partnership becomes too unpredictable or restrictive. It's a major rebalance.
And long-term effects.
Yeah.
They could really reshape things for you, our listener, couldn't they? Affecting everything from, prices at the supermarket to jobs in major industries.
Absolutely. This isn't just some high-level political story. It's a deep economic shift, and those always have very real, everyday consequences.
Okay, so just to recap quickly, the North American trade scene. It's been hit by this pretty dramatic, unexpected shakeup. Canada and Mexico forging a bilateral deal specifically designed to get around U.S. tariffs.
And it signals a new, perhaps more independent chapter in trade relations on the continent.
Right. And now, as you said, the world is watching very closely to see what America does next.
Yeah.
How does the U.S. respond?
Exactly.
Which leads us to our final thought for you today. Just consider how quickly these global economic alliances can pivot, can change when nations decide to prioritize stability and mutual benefit over maybe older, more strained relationships.
Yeah, and what might this specific deal mean for the future of those complex multinational supply chains we talked about? Could we see more fragmentation, maybe, but perhaps leading to more resilient, if smaller, regional blocks?
And what else could be impacted? What are the knock-on effects of this kind of redefinition of economic independence that maybe we haven't even thought of yet? Something to definitely keep an eye on.
Yes, thanks for watching. Stay updated with Global Scope 360. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon.